The crystal waves of ozone, a dreamy tale far beyond the horizon, where the sea kissed the edge of the sky, there lay a breathtaking kingdom known as Ozone, a realm built upon shimmering waters. The ocean around it glistened like scattered diamonds beneath the sun, and the air carried the soft hum of eternal joy. Colorful fish leaped through the sapphire waves, and coral gardens beneath the surface whispered ancient lullabies of peace. The people of Ozone were as radiant as their home. They spent their days singing by the shores, weaving garlands of sea flowers, and celebrating the tides that brought them abundance. Their beloved ruler, King Esran, was known not only for his wisdom but also for his boundless compassion. Every soul in the kingdom trusted him, for his words carried comfort and truth. By his side reigned his queen, Queen AITA, a woman of unearthly grace, gentle in manner and pure in heart. She was the moonlight of the palace, soft yet strong, yet, beneath her calm smile, Queen AITA carried a sorrow that time could not ease, the emptiness of not having a child. Each dawn, she would walk barefoot into the royal garden of blessings, where a mystical tree known as the Tree of Eternal Light grew. There, she would close her eyes, touch the silver leaves, and whisper, "O heavens, grant me the laughter of a child just once, let my heart be complete." King Esran, though brave before his people, shared the same quiet pain. From the palace balcony, he would gaze upon the horizon, wishing the winds might one day carry a child's laughter back to their halls. Years rolled by like gentle tides until one morning, the bells of Ozone rang in jubilant harmony. The sea itself seemed to sparkle brighter than ever before. Queen AITA had given birth to twin daughters, two radiant souls, identical in beauty but destined for different paths. The kingdom rejoiced, the waves sang, the clouds parted, and the palace glowed like crystal flame. The king declared joyfully before his people, "Our black-haired star shall be named Mira, and our golden-haired light shall be called Selena." Petals rained from every balcony, and the kingdom danced under the sapphire sky crowned. The twin blossoms of the sea years passed as gracefully as the ocean's song. The princesses grew into two enchanting young women, as inseparable as sunlight and shadow. Princess Mira, with her flowing black hair and bright, mischievous eyes, adored beauty, music, and dance. Every dawn, she wore gowns spun from pearl threads and spent hours twirling through the royal gardens. When she danced, the air shimmered, flowers awoke and swayed in rhythm, and colors spiraled like magic ribbons. Yet, she was also terribly lazy, sleeping till noon, refusing any duty, and often murmuring, "Let the world wait. I must rest to be beautiful." Her sister, Princess Selena, was the opposite, golden-haired, serene, and full of gentle strength. Her laughter was soft as a summer breeze, and her compassion touched everyone she met. Each morning, she joined her parents for breakfast, then wandered to the seashore with her favorite books. Sitting beneath the silver trees, she would read, sing, and feed the doves. Even the waves seemed to pause and listen when she sang. Selena loved helping others. She would visit markets to gift food and coins to the poor, comfort children, and guide fishermen lost in fog. The people called her the heart of Ozone. Hibiscus. The day of celebration, on their 16th birthday, the palace burst into colors. Silk ribbons fluttered from the towers, and every corner was adorned with glowing shells, golden lamps, and fragrant garlands. Two exquisite gowns awaited the princesses. Mira's was black and silver like a night sky filled with stars. Selena's was red and gold, blazing like sunrise upon the waves. That evening, the grand courtyard filled with music. Selena stepped forward first, radiant as dawn. "I wish to sing for my people," she said sweetly. Her voice flowed like honey, calming every heart. Even the sea hushed to listen. Then Mira entered, dazzling in her silver gown. "Now, let me show you a dance that even the stars will envy," she declared. As she danced, petals rose from the earth, light bent around her, and time itself seemed to hold its breath. The crowd cheered in awe. The king and queen's eyes glistened with pride. After the celebration, King Esran announced, "My daughters, your gifts await you beyond the gates." There stood two magnificent white horses, one decorated in red and gold, the other in rose and pearl. Mira laughed. "Now I shall never walk again. My beauty deserves a throne on horseback." Selena smiled and whispered to her mare, "Together, we'll travel and learn the world's wonders." In the trial of the kingdom, days later, King Esran and Queen AITA prepared to voyage across the ocean on royal duty. "Our daughters must begin to learn the art of ruling," the king said warmly. Selena nodded with quiet determination. Mira simply yawned and muttered, "Ruling sounds exhausting." When the king and queen departed, a tranquil silence filled the palace. For a few days, peace lingered. Selena rose early, met with ministers, and tended to the people's needs. Mira slept till afternoon, admired herself in jeweled mirrors, and ignored the scrolls that piled at her bedside. Soon, the kingdom began to show signs of neglect. Fountains ran dry, gardens wilted, and fishermen complained of broken nets. Selena worked tirelessly to mend every problem, while Mira remained distant, lost in her dreams. Then, one fateful morning, the sea turned fierce. A violent storm roared across the horizon. A merchant ship crashed against the coral drakes, and cries for help echoed through the rain. Without hesitation, Selena donned her cloak and LED soldiers to rescue the sailors. All night she fought the storm, drenched and trembling but unafraid. From her balcony, Mira watched, shivering. For the first time, she saw her sister's courage not born from beauty or grace, but from love. A strange ache filled Mira's heart. Perhaps, she thought, there is a different kind of beauty, one that shines even in the rain. When dawn broke, the storm subsided. The people gathered around Selena, praising her bravery. Flowers showered her feet. Mira, standing unseen by her window, felt no jealousy, only an unfamiliar longing to be better. The bloom of a new heart. That evening, Mira wandered into the garden where she had once danced with pride. But the flowers were asleep, the air dull. Sitting beside the silent fountain, she remembered her father's words, "Time is the greatest teacher, my dear." She looked into the still water and saw not vanity but emptiness. And she understood. The kingdom, like the garden, could not flourish on beauty alone. It needed care, compassion, and heart. The next morning, Mira awoke before sunrise for the first time in her life. Her maids gasped as she appeared in a simple gown. Without makeup or jewels, she entered the council hall, where Selena was reading scrolls. Without speaking, Mira picked one up and began to help. From that day, the sisters ruled together. Mira worked beside her sister, listening to villagers, tending gardens, and helping rebuild the fountains. The people saw her change and embraced her with love. Slowly, ozone began to bloom again, brighter than ever. One morning, as Mira danced once more in the royal garden, magic returned. But this time, it wasn't her beauty that awakened the flowers, it was her kindness. The colors burst alive, and the air filled with light. When the king and queen returned, they found their daughters standing together before the gates. Strong, radiant, and wise. King Esran embraced them both, whispering, "Now, our kingdom truly shines, not because of its crystal walls, but because of your hearts." That night, under a silver moon, ozone celebrated again. The waves shimmered like jewels, and the laughter of two sisters echoed across the sea, a melody of love, growth, and harmony. And from then on, the tale of the twin princesses of ozone was told across every shore, the story of one who ruled with kindness, and one who learned that true beauty lives in the heart. Months turned into years, and the kingdom of ozone bloomed brighter than ever before. Under the joint grace of Princess Selena and Princess Mira, peace rippled across every wave. The gardens overflowed with color, the fishermen sang while casting their nets, and the royal halls echoed with music once again. Yet beyond the ocean's edge, in the forgotten depths where sunlight never reached, something ancient stirred. A crown made of coral, pearls, and moonstone lay buried beneath sand and seaweed. Once, it had belonged to Queen Narita, the sea guardian of old, who protected the waters long before human kingdoms rose. But her crown had vanished after a great storm, lost to the abyss. Now, after centuries, it began to shimmer once more. The ocean whispered, "The balance has been disturbed. The crown must choose again." Sunrise, the message from the deep. One calm morning, while the twin princesses walked along the shoreline, a strange wave rolled toward them. It glowed faintly as if filled with trapped moonlight, and when it touched their feet, it left behind a silver seashell. Selena picked it up. The moment her fingers brushed the shell, a voice like distant thunder filled the air. "Daughters of ozone, guardians of light, the sea calls for you. The crown of Narita awakens. Seek the truth beneath the waves, or your kingdom's light will fade." The sisters looked at each other, their hearts pounding. The message vanished as the sea calmed again, leaving only the sound of gulls. That night, Selena couldn't sleep. She stood on the balcony, gazing into the endless water, feeling its pulse, a strange, sorrowful rhythm. Mira approached quietly and said, "The sea doesn't sound the same anymore." Selena nodded. "It's calling for us. Something's wrong beneath its beauty." Milky Way, the descent into the deep. At dawn, The princesses met the royal seer, an old woman with eyes like shifting tides. "The prophecy has returned," she said in a trembling voice. "Long ago, Queen Narita ruled the deep. She wore a crown forged by the ocean itself, the sea crown which kept harmony between land and water. But the crown was lost when greed entered the hearts of men. If it is not restored soon, the ocean will reclaim what once was hers, even your kingdom." Without hesitation, Selena declared, "Then we must find it." Mira hesitated, fear flickering in her eyes. "Beneath the sea? We could drown." The seer smiled faintly. "Courage breathes even where lungs cannot, dear princess." The next day, under the full moon, the sisters prepared for the journey. The palace mages chanted spells of protection, weaving silver veils of magic around their gowns. As they stepped into the ocean, the waves parted softly, and a pathway of glowing sand appeared, leading them into the deep. The deeper they went, the more surreal the world became. Schools of crystal fish swam around them like falling stars, and vast towers of coral glowed in rainbow light. They passed sleeping whales, ancient ruins, and gates made of shells as tall as palaces. At last, they reached a dark chasm, a silent trench where light itself seemed afraid to enter. High voltage, the shadow of the abyss. From the depths emerged a faint blue glow. The sisters followed it and found a massive altar carved with symbols of the old sea gods. Upon it rested the sea crown, its pearls glowing like captured moons. But before they could approach, the water trembled. From behind the altar rose a towering shadow, a creature made of swirling mist and coral shards. Its eyes burned like molten glass. "Who dares touch the crown of Narita?" it thundered. Selena stepped forward bravely. "We are her heirs, protectors of Ozone. We seek balance, not power." The creature's voice roared through the sea. Many have spoken of peace before, yet their hearts were filled with greed. It turned its gaze toward Mira. "And what of you, child of vanity? Do you seek the crown to shine brighter than your sister?" Mira froze, shame burning in her chest. Once, those words might have been true. But now, she took a deep breath and said softly, "I once sought beauty in mirrors. Now I seek it in kindness. If you must test anyone, test me first." For a long moment, the creature was silent. Then, it smiled, a deep, ancient smile, and the sea began to glow around them. The heart that accepts its flaws is the one worthy of light. The crown lifted from the altar, glowing brighter and brighter, and slowly divided into two, one half shining with golden light, the other with silver shadow. Each piece floated toward the sisters. When they touched the crowns, the sea itself rejoiced. Light burst from every coral, every scale of every fish. The water rippled with new life. Shooting star, the return of the twin queens. When the sisters rose back to the surface, the sun was just breaking through the clouds. The kingdom shimmered below them, as if reborn. The people looked up from the shores and gasped. Two radiant figures stood upon the waves, crowned in twin light. From that day forward, Mira and Selena ruled not only the Crystal Kingdom but also the tides themselves. The ocean obeyed their harmony, calm when they were united, restless when hearts wavered. King Esran and Queen Asha watched their daughters with pride beyond words. "They were born of our prayers," the queen whispered, "but they have become the sea's answer." And deep within the ocean's heart, the spirit of Queen Narita smiled. Her crown had chosen well. Crescent moon epilogue, the song of the sea. Every year, when the moon glows full and the tide sings softly, the people of Ozone gather by the shore. They say that if you listen closely, you can still hear two voices, one gentle as dawn, one bright as starlight, singing together over the waves. Beauty fades, but kindness flows. Hearts united make oceans glow. And thus, the legend of the twin queens of Ozone lived on, a tale whispered through waves and winds, reminding all who heard it that the truest crowns are worn not on the head, but within the heart. Many peaceful years flowed over the kingdom of Ozone. Under the twin crowns of Queen Selena and Queen Mira, the land prospered and the seas glimmered with harmony. The ocean sang softly every dawn, the winds carried laughter, and ships from faraway lands sailed toward Ozone to trade pearls, silk, and dreams. But peace, like the sea, is never still for long. Far beneath the deepest trench, where light had never touched, a shadow began to wake, older than the crowns themselves. It was Morveth, the fallen guardian of the abyss, who once envied Queen Narita's power. Banished to darkness for his greed, he had waited centuries for his revenge. Now, the balance of light and shadow in the twin crowns had reawakened him. His voice slithered through the depths. "Two hearts hold the power that should have been mine. I shall rise and drown their light forever." High voltage, the dark tide rises. The first sign came one moonless night. The sea turned restless, the waves growing sharp and black. Storm struck without warning, lightning flashed crimson, and creatures never seen before crawled from the depths. Selena sensed it first. The ocean no longer sang to her, it whispered in fear. "Mira," she said, staring at the angry horizon, "the sea's heart is trembling. Something old is stirring." Mira touched her silver crown, feeling it pulse with unease. "It's him," she whispered, as though remembering a story told long ago in dreams. Before dawn, the royal seer appeared again, her hair white as foam, her eyes clouded with sorrow. "The abyss awakens," she warned. "Only one flame can calm the sea's wrath, a heart that is willing to surrender itself." The sisters exchanged glances. Both understood the meaning, yet neither spoke it aloud. 带龙卷风的云 The war beneath the waves when Morveth rose. The ocean itself split. He appeared like a storm-given form, his body made of shadows, his crown forged from shipwrecks and sorrow. "Bow before the true king of the deep," he roared, and the sea boiled with rage. The two queens summoned the light of their crowns. Selena's golden aura clashed against the dark waves, while Myra's silver light cut through the storm like moonlight. The battle raged across the waters, whirlpools spun, lightning danced, and the ocean cried out in fury. Selena's song turned the waves into shields of light. Myra's dance stirred the wind into blades. Together, they fought like dawn and night, entwined, equal, fierce, inseparable. But Morveth was ancient. With a strike of shadow, he shattered the sky and hurled both sisters beneath the sea. New moon, the sacrifice. They sank into darkness deeper and deeper until they reached the heart of the abyss, where no sound existed. The crowns still glowed faintly, but their light was fading. Mira turned to her sister. "Selena, I think I understand now. Beauty, kindness, courage, they are all one thing. Love." Selena held her hand tightly. "We are one heart, Myra. But one must stay to hold the darkness back." Tears floated like pearls between them. Selena whispered, "The prophecy said a heart must surrender. Let it be mine." But Mira shook her head fiercely. "No! I spent half my life learning what it means to love. Let me prove I learned well." Before Selena could stop her, Mira kissed her sister's forehead and whispered a spell the ocean itself had taught her. Her silver crown burst into white flame, and her body became light, dissolving into the waves. The abyss screamed. Morveth howled in agony as Myra's spirit rose, shining brighter than the sun beneath the sea. The darkness cracked, the tides reversed, and for the first time in eternity, the abyss saw dawn. Selena, blinded by tears, felt her sister's final words echo in her heart. "Tell them the sea remembers love." Sunrise, the dawn of the eternal tide. When Selena rose to the surface, the sky was golden. The storms had vanished. The ocean was calm once more, but one crown was missing. People gathered by the shore as Selena emerged, carrying a single glowing pearl, all that remained of Myra's crown. She placed it in the center of the royal garden, where flowers bloomed instantly, brighter than ever. From that day on, the pearl shone each night, glowing softly whenever the tides turned, a reminder that sacrifice is the truest light. Selena ruled for many years, wise and gentle. But she never felt alone. Sometimes, when she stood on the balcony, she heard laughter in the waves, Myra's laughter, playful and free, carried forever through the sea breeze. When Selena grew old and her time came to rest, the ocean called her home. As she stepped into the waves, the waters parted one last time, and two figures of light, one golden, one silver, merged together, vanishing beneath the horizon. And from that night onward, sailors swore that when the moon touched the sea, two crowns could be seen glowing faintly beneath the surface, guardians eternal, ruling side by side in the kingdom of the deep. Crescent moon. Epilogue. The song of Ozone. Generations passed, but the legend endured. Children of Ozone grew up hearing the lullaby sung by their mothers at the shore. Two sisters born from sea and sky, one to live, and one to die. Yet through the tide their hearts remain, together forever beyond the rain. And so, the crystal waves of Ozone continued to shimmer, not just with beauty, but with memory. Because love, once born, never truly ends, it flows on, like the tide. The end.